Hello everyone and welcome back to the opening day of the Warcraft 3 Championship here live from beautiful Stockholm, Sweden, where we thought having 8 best of 3s is nice, but why have 8 when you can have 9? We're gonna hop into the middle of the other series where it's currently still 1-0 in favor of LuChaeL. Neil, how crazy is that?
That is the upset of the year, if you ask me. So the big question is here now, Hitman activated in map 2 or overrated?
Carsten, will NA bring it back?
Well, I mean, he did last week beat him with random Hitman. He beat him in an undead mirror, so this would be a massive upset. So we'll see. We'll see. He should on paper.
All right, well, Remo and ToD are ready to hop into the middle of that best of 3. So guys, have fun and let's see if Hitman can bring it back.
Here we are back again, ladies and gentlemen, ready for some overtime. The first match, we would have expected it to go the other way. We would have expected Hitman to quickly 2-0. He came into this definitely as the big favorite, especially considering the ELO rankings, where Lucy is in like 70-something position right now. But glad to see that he's having a good performance here with the 1-0 lead starting off well into this best of 3. Hitman now gonna have to bring it back. And of course he knows he's got a lot of hopes on his shoulders. Let's see. We start off in the bottom left, in the yellow, surprising us with a 1-0, LuChaeL.
His opponent in the red, North America's hope, playing ORC. It is Hitman. Yeah, game number 1 was played on Last Refuge, and Hitman played kind of standard. Farseer Headhunter, Tauren Chieftain seconds. LuChaeL played Death Knight Fiends. Dark Ranger second, as should you a lot of the time against Headhunters. And Hitman overextended early, lost his Tauren Chieftain, and then that kind of gave momentum to LuChaeL. And then they went into this longer game where both of them had tri-hero, but LuChaeL was able to get better trades in the fights. And honestly, out of this series, I expected LuChaeL to try Creep Lord Expo twice and then just lose 0-2 very, very one-sidedly. But no, he's playing standard, he's playing really well, and he's up 1-0 against Hitman. What an upset.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I feel like he was trying to cheese his way to victory, kind of cut some corners, but now this is really the most reliable style. Ted Fiend build against the Farseer Headhunter build on the other side. So this is both players going with what is tried and true and what will work very reliably. Yeah, Hitman. I know for a fact he was feeling super confident going into this. He talked with Insub about this match specifically and said he's sure he's definitely not even gonna lose a map. But here we are. Map has been lost, and all the pride of NA might be lost if this continues.
Yeah, of course, the loser here wouldn't be out immediately. There's still the lower bracket, but yeah, a lot of people, they were getting excited already about X-Lord against Hitman. Us amongst those people, and now LuChaeL is reminding us why he's one of the best undead players of all time. That guy once upon a time won ESWC. He was the top dog in terms of undead, in terms of players in the world. Of course, nowadays he's not rated nearly as high, with guys like Happy, 120, and X-Lord being ahead of him, but he still got it in his old age, Remo.
Yeah, Lucy has had a really tough year, to be honest. He was in a big slump. I'm happy to see him here at least get that map, which wasn't necessarily guaranteed to happen. He was the last guy to just barely make the cutoff here. He had only had 135 EPT points, which normally would not have been enough at all to qualify, but because the Chinese players unfortunately couldn't attend, because of COVID restrictions, LuChaeL had the chance to make it here to Sweden and prove himself. I'm sure that was a boost of confidence for him as well, and now his chest might be swelling with just that, or confidence, after the 1-0. But Hitman, he's very good at learning from his mistakes. I'm sure it didn't take him long to figure out what was going wrong on map 1 and will adjust.
Playing very aggressive, attacking the altar at the front. I saw that video on the Insta story of Back to Warcraft where you guys were talking about that scenario of like when he played against Happy, he was just kind of keeping him in his base for a long time, just kind of standing there and attacking the altar, not doing much. I guess we're seeing that now. You got any insider infos on like how these games are supposed to go with the Farseer Headhunter against Undead? Or?
Yeah, I talked quite a bit with Hitman about it. It was quite interesting. So his game plan is to be as aggressive as possible, oftentimes against the Ted Fiend standard. Doesn't care much about leveling, and wants to try to keep the DK on level 1 and in his base until the Dark Ranger arrives. On tier 2, of course. And that can work out well with good control, which Hitman certainly has. Oh, one ghoul goes down. The coil there a bit too late. First mistake perhaps by Lucy this game. And now transitioning into Fiends. I think he had 4 ghouls there for a while, right? And this is the difficulty for Undead. There's already plenty of Headhunters out, 5 in this case, and only very few Fiends to go up against.
Yeah, he gets the next Rod of Necromancy here. You can also count on Hitman to not mess up here the creeping and not allow coils to steal anything. He already has so many Headhunters, he's got 6, so that's going to be a ton of damage. To make sure he can get the snipes. There's the next one. Is he going to leave the Sacred Text behind? No, he's not. That's why he's NA's GOAT.
What a good boy. Just like the wolf that he's riding on. That was a Tome of Knowledge? I'm not sure. Whatever, not so important. Tier 2 finishes, Dark Ranger joins, and Hitman was indeed right about his game plan. He wants to keep the DK in his base and on level 1 until the Dark Ranger is there, and that certainly succeeded. He's got the TC coming. Shop just finished, ready to buy some items soon. Troll region. And then Tier 3 should be on the agenda next.
Really trying to get one of those Headhunters there. We'll be able to get it. That was not a deny here. I think Hitman was fishing for that, but not quite able to get it. Death Knight took so much damage every time he went forward here. I think he has to be really careful. LuChaeL really wants those Headhunter snipes, but Hitman did a very good job running away. He just lost the one.
Normally this is where the Headhunters would fall back and start creeping heavily with a TC. You can see on the minimap on the Orcish side, there's still all the camps left. The greens, the orange at the expansion, also the merchant, so the TC could creep up freely while the Farseer is creating space. But Hitman wants to stay in there, look for a bit more damage maybe. Well, actually now gonna pull them back. And the Farseer is gonna control the Undead, gonna be scouting and slowing down Lucy while the TC starts to go into the creeping game.
Hitman is so insane to play against when we enter that phase here, because his Farseer control when he's doing the harassment is just so good, and obviously at the same time he's flawlessly leveling his TC with like perfect creeping. He kind of lost track of where LuChaeL was, but maybe he's just taking key points here in the bottom right. Maybe he doesn't care as much if LuChaeL is doing the expo instead, but he has a lot of mana here for some chain lightning still if he were to get close enough to be able to land that. And his tier 3 is going to be earlier here, so usually we'll see a Shadowhunter third for Hex, healing wave as well. And then you can drop the tiny and let the crypto skyrocket. Coinbase in Warcraft 3 and that gold's going
Oh,
down.
hell yeah. You gotta spend money to make money. You know, it's the best time to invest ever, Todd. Especially if you can go for a tiny. But that would be only a wise choice if there's a lead after the mid game. If you do that in an even game, that's very risky, especially if the Dark Ranger is level 3. That is still far from the case. Dark Ranger only 1.6. Crucial camps here are the middle camps. Lots of experience and items, big ones to be picked up. Easy to creep, usually with Headhunters. But with a TC, you really usually want to play it more safely, more slowly. For a while, most orcs were playing Shadowhunter second, which is good for mid-game control, but will be suffering from weakness in the late game. The TC is the better late-game option. And now he's going to have his level 3, in a moment. And that stomp is going to be making all the difference in the late game.
Another chain lightning available here. Let's keep an eye on that Farseer. XP is 2.4 right now. Didn't quite shoot for it. Of course, there's Death Coil. He's gonna go for this one, and he gets it. 2.6 reached on the Farseer. Takes that experience away from the Death Knight as well. And then on the other side, TC is already 3. Usually that's the cue to try and go for a fight already. Which in the previous game, again, he lost his Torrent Chieftain because he overextended. But in that game, the Death Knight was level 3. That's why he died.
Really cool creep pattern here, by the way, by Hitman. When he started creeping the TC, he only bought a single heal salve, nothing else from the shop. So
oh my god, he's gonna catch him.
Saving a ton of money, and now he got level 3 with that heal salve. Looking for the creep jack, the big item, and experience gonna go to Lucy. Wand of the Wind is amazing against the TC. I wonder if Hitman saw that. He should try to get ready against that with perhaps an early invul potion, something like that.
Yeah, maybe after the first one. He sees like he's in the middle of like a lot of fiends. Obviously, once it's used, you can't cancel that out with the invul. You have to wait until you land it back on the ground. But yeah, Lich now on the way. Creature attack, so that's +1 for fiends coming into play. Berserker upgrade is now going to complete. And War Drums. And +2 as well, so getting these upgrades in really early to have a very strong 50 supply here. Both players playing similarly here with that Tri-Hero.
And the problem is for Lucy, his hero levels are still quite low. He wants that level 3, double level 3 badly, but he was just controlled too well.
The best item.
Wonderful. Bonus damage for all the range units. Of course, going to be applicable to the Headhunters / Berserkers.
Can you hear the chants from across the ocean? USA.
USA. I don't think we have to go that far in the hotel desk cruncher. He's been saying that all day long anyways.
Yeah, but about himself mostly, to be honest.
Every time he wins a ladder game. USA.
Whoa, Foster actually got nuked a bunch here at the start of the fight. Silence on the TC. He's going to use the invuln to break away from that. Kodo, Devourer, actually barely dodged, but not on an ensnared fiend. And at TC needs to go deep for the next stomps, even though Hitman's already doing well in the fight.
Litro's waiting quite a while with the Nova, takes it on the Kodo Beast, takes out that key target. And the Fiend has returned. Faustia in trouble, has to TP out. That was almost a kill. But it could be a double kill on the Fiends. Oh, the coil just a little bit too late. There was not a bad fight for Lucy until the very end when he ended up losing 2 Fiends there. That hurt. But if he gets the red camp for his troubles, then it might work out. Something that I, by the way, learned from Lucy. These wolves, for some weird reason, don't give corpses. Look at that. They drop a corpse, but no skellies.
Yeah.
It's a magic trick.
I remember you learned about that in like a... Somebody was telling us about it. Who was it?
It was Lucy.
Oh yeah, it was the one.
Ah, yeah, it was Town Hall. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right. Big item here. What's he gonna find? There's no TP anymore, so it's a bit scary for Lucy. He can't get out easy, and he has no mana on the DK. Oh, this could be a creepjack. To finish the game, really trying to get that item, and he shall. Silent on the Shadowhunter, but the TC's coming in. Big, bad, and mad. Level 4, very strong. It was the Claws plus 12, I believe. Very good item. Lucy trying to disengage. Hitman knows he has to try to punish this. He's gonna get one more Fiend. The Burrow won't save it. He has another Raider to look for more catch. He's also got the Shadowhunter with a Hex.
Actually not Townpole right now. I mean, Hitman clearly wants to fight. I think LuChaeL should have been getting out already. He's gonna lose a Fiend. Maybe can he get it? Oh, a Raider. Oh. Okay, he loses 2 Fiends for a Raider. I think he should have TP'd immediately. Maybe he would have lost only one of the Fiends and perhaps gotten the Raider anyway. But now, Hitman is looking good. He's looking confident. He's got a slight supply lead here, 48 against 39. And that True Shot, such a great item when you have this many ranged units. +2 about to finish here for LuChaeL. Hitman, he keeps on cancelling his upgrade, I feel like. He started +3 and then cancel it from what I see.
I could have imagined him going for a Tiny. Maybe he thought about that as well.
Yeah.
Cancel the cancel the 3rd attack upgrade, go for the Tiny Great Hall. Of course, he just killed 3 Fiends right there in that exchange and a TP. So that's always a nice pick-off to go for. More levels for Hitman. He went heal wave first before, didn't have Hex. Now he does, which makes this Orc army even more terrifying.
Yeah, because you kind of need Destroyer against this, but then Destroyer against Raider and Berserkers. You just get ensnared and that falls very rapidly. A bomb, like, if you can get Disease Cloud and everything, it's quite nice, but I mean, it's supposed to also get ensnared and devoured by the Kodo, which is terrible for you when that happens, because then you've invested into this for absolutely nothing, especially if you cannot apply Disease Cloud on any of the units.
Khadgar's pipe, perhaps not enough for Shadowhunter. Shadowhunter out of position, gonna get nuked right away. The silence was perfect. Triple silence on all heroes. Lucy with a comeback out of nowhere, back in the game now. He was quite far behind there a moment ago, but that hero kill, plus I think he got a Berserker, changes things once again.
He might attack. He knows that it takes a while to remake the Shadowhunter. Even if you instant revive again, like, the hero comes back with no mana, so...
Yeah, absolutely true, absolutely true. But the Dark Ranger now has low mana, so she may not have a silence to start off the fight. To have one silence against the TC is crucial, usually. He can break out of it with the invul, but it's always a bit uncomfortable. If he can get through it without invul potion, might be a different story. Lots of Skelly still in the fight. He can make use of them right now. Nova against the Berserker, only one, not more. Right-click, coil. DK in trouble, by the way. Does have a TP, gets level 4. Heal potion as well. TC looking for the big stomp, and he gets it. Heroes are okay. Coil is too late. The Fiend goes down, and there was one of only 3. Kodo Beast might be getting sniped as well. Getting the A-bomb back, indeed. The Lich has to fall back, kind of low HP. DK, does he have a coil? I don't think so. Needs a bit more mana. Invul potion gonna be used. TC gets the level 5, though. That's a huge level up. And 5 seconds until the Shadow returns.
And he has a mana pot already, yeah. Shadowhunter is gonna be key as well. Remember, he's got Hex to work with. LuChaeL almost times it perfectly. Starts running away here. Can he get away from this? There is speed scroll available. We might go for the full-on chase here. And yeah, I mean, apparently he doesn't even need it. Endurance, pretty fast.
Lining up the perfect stomp, and there it is with a Hex that should be the kill. Doesn't even need it. I guess he did TP on the DK, but that is certainly not good enough to save that hero. Stomp Hex combo for hero kills, so strong, especially with the TC level 5. If you're out of position, even with the Destroyer, it's going to be tough, but there was no Destroyer in Hitman here in the late game. Shining now with his strong army. Little bit shaky, slightly at times, but now it seems like the American will finally equalize.
Yeah, getting Shadow to level 3 here is going to be really nice as well. And Fastia is almost 5. So he brings it right in there. Torch Chieftain already 5.2, of course, does not need to soak any of that experience. LuChaeL's being very aggressive, even though he's on 42 supply. He moved back out immediately, sells a bunch of the items here, maybe to try and get a stronger 50 supply. He bought an invuln that he gave to the Lich. Usually that's the one hero you might have it on because it dies very quickly. Silence to open up the fight. Invuln used immediately to use a big stomp on top of everything. And that's it for map number 2, Hitman with the Equalizer. America's hope is still alive, Remo.
That was an interesting game. Nice back and forth. Hitman really had the thumb there on Lucy for quite some time. But Lucy fights his way back at the red camp. Got some good things going his way, getting the item on the one side, getting the hero kill on the other. But Hitman, in the very late game, will come out on top. That TC level 5, very, very hard to play against. And I think this is what the Orcs have once again realized. Play TC second, creep him heavy, use the Fastia to buy space, and then if you manage to get to that level 5, it is extremely, extremely tough to play up against that as undead, as we saw here. But Lucy did a decent job so far. Honestly, this game was pretty close, and he won the first one. Already impressing and surprising many Warcraft fans out there.
Yeah, the early game was really clean by Hitman here. That's really what I noticed. Like, his harassment, he really kept the Death Knight low on hit points the whole time. He stole a lot of the creeps, even like the smaller creeps, right? Because like the Death Knight was like, what, 2.2, 2.4, and then he just kept him on that level thanks to some chain lightning steals. But yeah, once we get to this point here with those hero levels with +3 attack berserkers, it gets a whole lot easier if you can land those stomps correctly, and that's exactly what happened here. It broke away from the silence with the invuln every single time like he needed to. Maybe LuChaeL needed to be a little bit more on point with pulling back as soon as he used the silence and he sees the TC coming in, because obviously you're always going to know like the first invuln is going to be used very quickly.
What happened to that Wand of Illusion, by the way? Wand of the Wind. So many wands. Wand of the Wind.
Maybe
did he sell it?
Yeah, he must have.
I can't remember Cyclone being used. This can be so insanely good against the TC. As we saw, it's the big problem. He's running in, everything's getting stomped, and then you lose the DPS battle between the two armies. Maybe he thought with silence he was going to be able to control him enough. But that's the thing, you can break out of it with the invul. As you mentioned, it's a heavy investment with that invul potion, but at the right moment it can be absolutely worth it. I guess it must have sold it, which is kind of surprising, but maybe need some gold.
Because that army up. It's kind of like Death Note's army, you know, there's no dispel, so...
Exactly.
So you'd be flying twice.
That truly is
a very annoying moment. You can time it really well too, it's a longer cooldown now on Stomp, so you time that perfectly, boom.
Yeah. And if you can manage to go between Silence and One of the Wind, it can be quite some disable. Yeah, we didn't see any dispel, we didn't see two bases here. Some Orcs are quite greedy with that tiny Great Hall. Hitman here playing it safe, just trusting in one base, trusting in his heroes in the late game, in his micro potential, and that worked out quite well indeed. Now with a chance to go up against X-Lord, finally to give us that much desired, much coveted match.
How about Northern Isle on next map? What do you make of this?
Normally I would say works out pretty well for the Orc. You can get the level 2 right away, creeping at the greens in the middle. Fastia can run across and try to harass the DK. That seems to be the best early tactic to slow him down, slow the DK down. Don't give him that level 2 too easily. As an especially, you start noticing very quickly how much more painful the early game is without the aura.
I wonder if there's any chance we see something a little bit wilder here out of LuChaeL, but against Fastia Headhunter, like Crypt Lord seems like a pretty bad idea. I mean, Krav won this one game early on Echo Isle, but that was such like a weird one with Wind Riders and stuff. I think Hitman would probably play almost entirely differently if you were in that position to play with Fastia Headhunter against Crypt Lord, so probably not the best map for it too.
Yeah, Tidehunters can also be played as an easy expansion map. Northern Isles, not a hard expansion map by any means, but certainly a lot harder than Echo or Tidehunters would be. We are now ready for the decision on map 3. In the bottom left, can he make the upset happen? On the decider from South Korea is LuChaeL.
Vision strikers, of course. His opponent, the United States of America's greatest hope for a big result here in this massive tournament, playing ORC. It's Hitman. Do you think if he won this tournament, he'd be invited to the White House?
I think he would decline. He would be like, sorry, I'm busy. I gotta go to the coffee shop down the street.
He would accept, but he wouldn't wake up for it.
Private jet waiting out on the tarmac. He's like, nah, bro, not today. I got plans.
Gotta buy a slushie and play some ladder, you know? So it is the expected opener from Hitman. However, on the other side, it's not a straight Finn build, Remo. What's going on here?
It's a fast Fiend build indeed, which can work out well if the Orc player is trying to be very aggressive with the Farseer running across the map. That usually ends up with him running kind of into a dead end. But if it's scouted for, the Orc can adjust to this. Hitman usually scouts quite a bit against the Undeads. But perhaps now he has the read that Lucy is just playing standard, in which case a scout wouldn't be necessary. We see a DK first. Cryptload also is an option, but risky. And the Farseer comes out. And this is a big deal. If he runs across the map without creeping the greens first, this is going to be a bad opening for Hitman.
Yeah.
An unfortunate one. Oh, and indeed he does.
And this used to be considered the counter to Farseer Headhunter, right? For some time, that's what the Undead were aiming to go for. And then it kind of switched over to Ted Fiend, where you go for into the Death Knight very quickly, then you go into the Fiends after. LuChaeL seemed confident that Hitman was going to harass straight away. Maybe he really picked up on some of the tendencies that have been applied so far in this match, and he's like, okay, I know you like to harass immediately. Just going to go for this build so I can build up the Fiend counts to be higher very early, and once I have 3, then good luck stopping me from creeping like you've been doing so far in this series.
And this is a really good start for Lucy. Hitman playing this build because he wants to cover a few options. He didn't play a Peon Scout, but he still ran over to the natural right away in case of a fast expansion. This, of course, was not to be. But he falls back, goes to the green.
Whoa, that ensnared.
And wants to prevent that DK from getting level 2. If Lucy gets all creeps here at these 2 green camps, he's going to be level 2, and Hitman's going to be in real trouble.
It's so tempting to coil. And there is no resummon possible right now on the wall, so he will get the XP, but I think he's more focused on getting the creeps. Gets the first one. The ensnare creep is still down there. That guy is a sneaky one, you know? Like, he always ensnares what you don't want him to ensnare. AKA not the summons.
And this is a great opening by Lucy. I wonder if he studied the Hitman replays, saw his opening movement, because it wasn't really a creep out, just his opening with the Farseer, and considered this one to be a strong counter, which it certainly is. Tier 2 starting now also for the Undead, slightly behind Hitman. Usually with this build you would go 3 Fiends to really have good focus fire damage to take out the Wolves, but here it's only 2. So the Wolves can still pressure quite well, and Hitman is starting to recover.
Nice little deny here, actually. Defending any amount of experience, both heroes on 1.2 currently. Another great deny. You can tell they got a good ping.
Yeah, every last hit here matters. The power spike jump from 1 to 2 is immense, and moving on beyond that to level 3 as well, of course. Maybe a bit of a mistake not going for that 3rd Fiend for Lucy. If he had, perhaps he could have claimed all those creeps at the green for himself. And then creep level 2 now, which Hitman might be able to get, creeping that away from the opponent. He does that very nicely, creeping with the Headhunters and the Wolf.
Oh, that was a steal?
Oh my god, did he get it?
No, I don't think so. It's not even close. And Farseer gets level 2 here thanks to the Murloc camp.
No, I think he got it. I'm pretty sure he got the steal with the Farseer.
That's actually sick. Because then that means he's level 2 instead of the Death Knight being.
Slight mistake by Lucy. We saw that
Sentry
earlier.
Words on Northern Isle. Okay, you're gonna see the entire map.
Exactly, plants it outside the main. And he's over at the expansion. He doesn't see Lucy yet either, so that logically concludes he must be over at the Tuskar. We're finding he's gonna get level 2. But looking beyond the early game towards the mid game, creeping is gonna be a lot easier for Hitman, because on his side of the map there's plenty of camps left. Certainly not the case for Lucy.
Creature attack actually queued at this stage. He's not saving the gold to make sure he can get a second hero immediately here, with the Dark Ranger usually being the one of choice. Perhaps a Creepjack. Hitman sees the Death Knight coming in here with the Sentry Wards, so he might just disengage completely, because actually some of those Headhunters are pretty low.
Yeah, this was quite risky. Like, I'm surprised that no Ensnare was used by the Trapper here.
I think LuChaeL must have heard, by the way, that Sentry Ward. If somebody uses it very close to you, you know, you hear like the and you buy dust and get rid of it.
Maybe it was in the shadows. Not quite sure. Uses Scroll of the Beast to creep in the middle. Interesting, unusual.
Bastar's coming in for the chain lightning.
Oh my god.
No way. Oh, if he lands this one.
Not this time.
That would have been so sick. Chain lightning picked up, by the way. Would be great to use later on the Thorn Chieftain, and he can transfer also the Ring of Regen, which is great on the Falstair because it's going to be taking a little bit of damage here and there.
But Lucy getting both items from the middle. This is a pretty damn good mid-game. I'd say this is looking much better than map 2 was.
Isn't this Falstair the most obnoxious thing ever when you're trying to creep like this and he's just here hating you one hit at a time?
Yeah, honestly, since he's using the wolves to creep, he's not committing so much to this harass. This could be more painful, but he's rather ensuring his TC's progress. Who got the level 2? If he gets his last hit, no way. Okay, now the DK secures it. But it's another coil, right? Lots of coils here have to be used. That's always mana drained out of the undead.
I think LuChaeL was really worried about a potential steal here, so he played it safe, went for the coil. Obviously, you want to preserve mana as much as possible before the actual fight. He's moving in a position to steal that expansion creep away from Hitman, who's creeping the lab. It's a great camp to do on the other sides. Oh, he gets Falstair 3 actually from like some of the snipes here on the Skellies. It's a great camp to creep here on the lab, but it's one of the ones that takes the longest time because the units are very tanky. They got inner fire and everything.
Oh, he got it. He got it again, right?
No, he was only 3.
Okay, no.
That was close. It looked like it.
That was super close, yeah. But I guess he would have had a level up. Yeah, especially the lab creeps if you don't have normal
We
damage.
failed the eye test on this one.
For medium armor. It does take quite some time, but it doesn't give him level 3 and was safe to do. This is of course what the Farseer ensures. He checks out where the unit is, he knows a Creepjack won't be coming in, he can safely creep with the TC and ensure that the late game carry, which is the TC, gets the necessary levels. Lucy would love to have level 3 Dark Ranger, but he's still a bit away from that.
Yeah, LuChaeL needs to disengage fully here.
Oh, the Ensnare catches the statue. Statue was not in a good position, should be always behind the Fiends. And losing that first statue hurts a lot.
LuChaeL's usually the one saying, let's go champ, but I'm pretty sure that's what the Orc army yelled here as Hitman used the speed scroll. Gets the statue, and it looks like he may be able to force the town hall here with some targets. He's not stomping, he misses!
Whoops.
Unacceptable.
That was a bit of a whiff. He was thinking about a surround there as well, but if you surround with headhunters, those can die quite quickly.
It's very rare to see Hitman miss a stomp. Like usually he's the guy that's so on point. Sometimes he'll fake the stomp, you know, he'll raise his leg, he'll be ready to stomp the ground, but then he'll stop manually to force an invuln or something like that.
He's going to say, psych! But you know he was full mana, so at least you can comfort yourself saying, well, at least I'm making use of mana regen now, you know. Oh, aggressive call on the TC. Don't want to have to use the Invul Potion here already, but he may have to. He certainly will have to. Last second with that one, Raider going down.
If he gets chased, he has to TP here, because the coil would actually kill him.
Yeah, he has
to TP. Transferred already, he's ready. Finger on the trigger, don't miss that one.
Oh, he's got heal wave? Maybe. Oh, he does, okay.
Wow. 6 save. Yeah, don't re-engage. He's stay away. Why is he turning around? You want to stay down? Let's keep running.
And Hitman, I think he overchased, right? Getting that statue was great, but why did he keep going? He couldn't kill anything else. He only had that one Raider. The Fiends were out of range. And that was one misstep that does put Hitman a bit behind now.
Where's the Ring of Regen on the Farseer? That Tauren Chieftain has never needed a Ring of Regen more so than now. There, he transfers it.
He heard you, bro.
About time.
He doesn't want to make you mad. He doesn't want to suffer the wrath of Yuan.
I don't know why, but like some players sometimes, they don't transfer items so well. It always slightly triggers me, you know? Like I tune into a stream and like Mountain King's out and I see like double ring of protection on the Archmage. Like, what are you doing?
At least sell it, but don't keep it on the IM, right?
Exactly.
There you go.
My man. All right, Lich finally enters the field here. With Orb, hopefully? Oh no, it's on the DK. He's already got that.
Yeah, the Lich was a bit delayed. There was a bit of a hectic moment there with the chase, with the statue going down, of course, with the invul shortly after. TC got a new invul, which he certainly needs. Shadow got 2, TC got 4, big level ups. Finds the Warsong Battle Drums, which is a bit redundant right now, having the Kodo, but he's got the Insurance, which is actually kind of valuable in
LuChaeL?
case the Kodo dies.
Oh god. They're getting all the RS they already have. Probably he was praying for. Like, that would be a great moment here when you won one in the biggest tournament of Warcraft 3 ever to find a Khadgar.
Maybe at the marketplace. Reinvest those stonks, you know? Sell the stocks that are not going to work out for you. Get some better ones. It is possible
Are
here.
you a bit of a shopaholic, Remo?
Not really.
Probably not, yeah, I've seen your shoes.
Not really. I'm glad the shot doesn't extend all the way to the bottom.
That Death Knight is tanky, by the way. Talisman of Evasion, double ring. This is a terrible position for LuChaeL to get caught in. He silences the TC, but like always, there is the invul need to stomp. The statue took so much damage before the fight actually properly began.
And the Hex was used, preventing the coil. Lucy didn't morph the statue on time. That was the one mistake in this fight Microwise he couldn't make, and the Fiend's dying so fast. Jesus Christ. Shadowhunter also fell. He got the return kill there with the nuke. Shadowhunter dying, but certainly the trade is looking better for Hitman. But if the mana is dry, it could be turned around. TC only has 1 stomp left in a little bit. There it is, trying to get the DK. No Hex here to control him. Maybe able to force the TP. He's tanky, but not tanky enough to get out. 1 more Raider is going to be sniped. 2 Fiends survive. 45 supply left for Lucy. 51 for Hitman here, as the dust settles. Could think about a tiny Great Hall now, perhaps.
Hitman's on 51 supply. You might want to kill one of your own peons here, maybe. And yeah, that Kodo has a Fiend inside. So that's going to be a little bit of extra experience for Hitman in a sec. LuChaeL again going for an A-bomb here. So he really wants to have that as part of his mix. I think ideally, if you have Disease Cloud, you know, you can just have that infect all of the enemy units so they can drop down lower in hit points, and then you can win a fight in the long term.
It does make sense on paper, but micro-wise, I'm not sure if it's the best, because an A-bomb is so easily focused in these range versus range armies.
Or eaten before it can apply Disease Cloud.
Or that, but even if that doesn't occur, in these range versus range armies, it's all about positioning, and you want to have your units as far in the back as possible so the opponent can't target it too easily. But the A-bomb can always be targeted easily. Here's the tiny Great Hall. I think it was maybe Scout with a Skelly. No, actually, I think he just killed a critter. The Dark Ranger is still dead for a few seconds. It seems like a great timing for Hitman. And now the clock is ticking for Lucy. He's got like maybe 2 more minutes to go for a push and kill this Expo, because if it runs for longer, this game certainly will go to Hitman.
And now he's the one that's on 51. Hey, he had broken upkeep here for seconds as well, going a bit higher, so he must have cancelled something, and I think he's about to go for a timing. He needs Disease Cloud really bad, so now there it is queued. Should hopefully finish before the fight actually properly begins. That DK, not quite full hit points, but he's got a statue in the back, Unholy Aura and Hellstone. So it's like he's sitting in inside of 3 health fountains right now.
But he can't get too comfortable, too complacent with that. The DK can still die if he is too far forward. The focus fire potential of this Orc army is immense. Double Sentry Ward going to get rid of that quickly. Silence on the TC, Coil Nova as well, but perfect Immo Potion. Dark Ranger in trouble right away. TC close to level 5, by the way. Needs 1 or 2 more kills. He should be there. Kodo's running in. A-bomb getting eaten as well. Beautiful combo with the Stomp and the Kodo and the Speed Scroll. Wonderfully done by Hitman. Saves it towards the back. 1 Kodo died, but the more important one is still alive with the Kodo in the belly.
He ate the A-bomb before Disease Cloud was applied to all of those units.
And the TC now got level 5, and now we have the level 3 Stomp. So much damage. Chain Lightning over the top. Almost no units left. The Coil again, a little bit too late. Level 3 on the Shadowhunter now. Is going to have 1 more heal wave soon. Stomp perhaps also going to be ready again. Does Lucy still have enough here in the tank? Only the heroes and statues left to keep him in the upper bracket.
He needs to save that A-bomb to have a chance here. Kodo even came back to fight here. That's how confident Hitman has been here. That TC level 5, Shadow level 3 means Healing Wave level 2 to keep everything alive. He's going to need no less than that. The Torn Chieftain actually goes really low on hit points. There's still some cores to work with, but not any unit. Just skeletons from the Black Arrow here of LuChaeL, whose Death Knight is not very healthy anymore.
Looking for some more kills, but the Lich having no more mana for Nova is a problem. TC looking for the next big stomp. He's got one more, hits two of them, takes out the Dark Ranger, and will get the win. A bit of a scare for Hitman losing map number 1, but he does come back. He does redeem himself, make the USA proud, and gives us the match we were hoping for, looking forward to for so long. It's going to be Exlord versus Hitman finally meeting here.
Do you think that maybe struggling a little bit against LuChaeL is worrying for Hitman if he has to go up against Exlord, or you think it's just a different matchup? And
I think kind of, yeah. It also can be a good wake-up moment here for him, though, because this shows him he's going to have to play a little bit cleaner, especially if he goes up against Exlord, or perhaps even Happy later. All right, boys, we're finally caught up with the schedule. We're going to move on soon to the upper bracket match next, but of course, first we're going to bring it back to the desk with Roddy and the boys and hear what they have to say.
Thank you very much, ToD and Remo. I mean, that was some fun little bonus content, if you ask me. Neo, Hitman turned things around, and I gotta say, I think he looked pretty convincing in game 2 and 3.
Hitman activated. We raised the question before if you're going to fall, and no, he's there. Maybe a little tired still in map number 1, but this is the real Victor Lin, and we get the dream match we wanted so bad in Group B. I can't wait.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it looked mighty fine to me, especially I think game 3, the way that he synced up some of his spells. I absolutely loved the stomp into the hex, into the kill.
Yeah.
It looked good to me.
It's a pretty strong strategy, I won't lie. I mean, this new meta of Orc playing Farseer headers with the Tri-Hero, with the potential for the hero focus, the Hex Stomp, it's always really strong, and Hitman plays it to a T. He takes everything, the best parts of players like Focus and Lin, and then adds his own flair to it, and it's nice to see that he warmed up in the end.
Obviously, guys, we're going to talk more about Hitman soon as he moves on to the upper bracket match of Group B. But I gotta say, a lot of you guys kind of downplaying Lucifer a little bit, saying he had a bad year, recently had an incident as well, hasn't been playing a whole lot. This actually promises a lot of good for his lower bracket match as well. Carson?
Absolutely, yeah. I think, I expected a 2-0. I think everyone expected a 2-0. As I said, Hitman beat him with his off race twice in a row just last week with Undead and Night Elf. So this is a good omen.
Final thoughts, Neo?
Yeah, that makes the groups even more exciting than it already was. B is super tight as it seems, and can't wait for that dream match.
All right, well, the dream match. It's been hyped up for a little while, and that is the one that we are going to get ready for. Hitman versus Exlord is your upper bracket match of Group B. We're going to go ahead and take a very quick break, and after that, we'll be back with that lovely little Orc vs Undead.